All right, so you're ready to record your first podcast. Do you have a microphone? Who's going to distribute for you? Do you have a studio? What about the editing? All right, everyone relax because I think I have the answer. Anchor app. Yeah, Anchor. It's free. They distribute Spotify, Apple, many more. There's creation tools that allow you to edit and create your podcast from your phone, your laptop, or your personal computer. And the best thing of all, girl, you can make money no matter how many listeners you have. So the answer is simple. Get Anchor. Anchor FM app. Go find it now. Tell them a seat at the table sent you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I really do hope that it's morning, because if it's not, then that's the gag. Welcome, one and all, to an all-new, exciting episode, even though it doesn't sound very exciting right now. We'll get there. Hi. Welcome to a new episode of A Seat at the Table podcast. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. Hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, listen. Excuse me, I'm having some coffee. So let's get through the formalities, because quite frankly, you guys, what a fucking dill pickle of a week this has been. You can find A Seat at the Table podcast, A Seat at the Table pod, all one word. On Instagram, you can find me. On Twitter, at Galanda Adams. You can also find me on Instagram. That's all I'm going to say. Oh my God, you guys. Thank you so much for coming back and listening to this concocting podcast. It's so nice of you. You know what? Can we just take a deep breath for 1 second? Can we just before we just deep dive 6 feet into this thing? This week, This week, I mean, listen, I hope that this week has been better for you than it has been for me. This week has been, and I feel like I said this last week. I feel like I said last week was emo. This week is super emo too, guys. What the fuck, bro? What is happening? I just think that, I'm not rattled by any of this quarantine stuff, to be honest with you. And I know a lot of you are losing your shit, being in this uncontrollable place of unknown. So I get that. I also get that, sorry, a little brownie for my brownies, for my troubles, But I also get that, people are ready to be outside again and, what have you. Since Georgia has opened back up, they've had a couple of hundreds of new cases, in the thousands, actually. And of course, I don't believe that their opening has gone off without a hitch. I know as far as New York is concerned, we're going to do a rolling, slow opening by county and yada yada, whatever. I think the thing that rattles me the most during all of this is the unknown. The unknown of what this is going to, what is life after this? Even but for a short period of time, what is life after this? And honestly, God, what is it that I'm supposed to get or know? Because by and large, yes, this is something that has happened to everyone, but I think whenever anything happens to me specifically, I always want to know, God, what is it that I'm supposed to get from this? You know what I mean? Like, what's my whole thing to get? What am I supposed to understand from this situation? What am I not getting? You know? And I think that I really struggle with the unknown part of a lot of this, because I don't know. Sometimes I feel like my faith perhaps may be questionable. The idea of wanting to control the narrative as much as I can. I mean, we've been given so much control in our lives, and we don't really do sometimes the best with it. But I don't know. I just feel like, I know a lot of us are going through it, right now, questioning a lot of things. Being home is giving you anxiety. Worrying about what's coming next is also giving you anxiety, because, I don't think that I stand alone in expressing some economic tension that may loom for most of us. I mean, listen, we live in a very capitalist society here. So we work in industries that either provide services or goods, right? Most of us. And from a service standpoint, people will be reluctant to correlate with one another. So that definitely leads you to wonder what will be the inevitable fate of my profession. For those of us who are in a goods industry, I think, I don't know about y'all, but that little $1,200 there is okay. And this is an amazing, I think if you have a little bit of money, and this isn't the time for you to decide, oh, I'm going to take whatever little money I have and invest. This isn't the time for that. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people, I know a lot of us, like, because we are social media engaging, we see all these people buying Bitcoins and buying stocks, and they're telling you, like, yeah, I'm getting in the game. You know what I mean? Like, I got a little change, so I'm gonna, and I feel like that's the voice that they use, that fucking annoying ass voice. But listen, if you have extra income, I think as opposed to, unless you have Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, but big money, to be able to make substantial financial stock investments in, the big 50, major companies like Amazon and Google and, Target and Walmart. Even right now, I don't know if you have been buying into stocks, you'll see that this week was a little bit of a volatile week for Apple. Even, a lot of organizations that depend on commerce from China will unfortunately have to suffer some sort of financial decline. I would advise, and listen, listen, I'm actually not giving you advice. Let me say that, because I don't want to end up in nobody's jail about giving stock advice. But, this is a great time to buy into bonds and treasury as far as I'm concerned. If you can get into, military stocks and things like that, steel, cement, medical supplies, pharmaceutical companies, especially companies that are testing and have gotten the okay for possible COVID antidotes and and what have you. So, those are the kind of things that you want to perhaps pay attention to. But if you don't have that kind of money and you're struggling like, the majority of Americans are, then it's pretty rough right now, and you don't know where your next whatever could be coming from. And you don't know if in the goods industry that you serve, is that going to be a thing? If you are someone, again, like I said, if you're someone who provides a service, you are a trainer, a party promoter, a instructor, or whatever the case is, people have been finding ways around that to make it work for them. Trusted client, instructor, safety and what have you. But, I definitely think that from all of this, we should all see anew. I have been, as much as I fancy myself a, introvert, I think that I am someone who thrives off of not necessarily like interacting with people. Like I'm not like this person that's going to go out and just introduce myself to people and go out. I go out by myself, but that's with intent. Like I want to be alone. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going out to meet new people, for the most part, especially at my big age. Like, come on, like whatever, dude. I mean, not that it's not possible to make friends or what have you, but like, whatever. Anyway, the point is I actually really thrive off of like being that person that smiles at strangers and that, smizes at people walking down the street. I love that kind of interaction. It's fun to me. It's fun to me. To just like be like, hey, making my way downtown. And then just like seeing people and they look at me and I give them like yesterday I was running. I've been running again, which has been interesting because I used to live in a middle class neighborhood. I feel like I now live in the hood. I ain't even gonna like mince words. So, or at least hood adjacent. I'm hood adjacent. Real adjacent, okay? But hood adjacent, okay? I can't even afford the tea. But listen, my point is that you got to find times when you live in an urban area to like get out there and run, especially because they recommend that you don't run or do any cardiovascular activity, whatever that is, with a mask on. Because what happens is you're inhibiting your own breathing, stifling yourself, while you're causing like an even more elevated heart rate for your heart to work more unnecessarily. Like take the mask off and, maybe run in the street and not on the sidewalk with the throngs of fucking people. But it's hard to do that. It's hard to avoid people when you live in an urban area. So I've been like trying to go early and, man, it's like you got to look up when you running. You got to look down on the ground. You got to look around you because make sure the killer ain't coming. You got to look straight because you don't want to bump into nobody who ain't wearing no mask. You got to look down because what if you step on a pipe? What if you run right in a load of shit? Like, I don't know. The pipe is dramatic because like I haven't seen a crack pipe around here in years. But like I'm trying to like run and my music is playing. So like my senses are like fucking fucked. You know what I mean? And I'm also paying attention to my body when I run because I'm trying to not run and have my legs feel heavy, like concentrate so much on my foot hitting the ground that it is, that I like the impact of I'm taking in the impact of my entire body. So that's a secret for people who, and you guys, like, we are 15 minutes in almost, and we ain't been talked about none of these damn celebrities yet, but Honey, we got to catch up with each other. I wanted to give you a quick tip.